All right. Hello, everyone. Very excited for today. We have our guest, Miss Blessing Jackson.
Hi.
um, this is the beginning of the never ending. Um, this is the story of people. And we're really excited about exploring the story of Miss Jackson and kind of the life that you lived and what his life has been in your shoes. I think our goal here is because this is the start of something does not mean that it's just when we pass that's it, right? Like there's someone is going to remember you. There's life that's going to be passed down from generation to generation. So our goal is to I guess take a glimpse of those lives, take a good snapshot of it, and kind of archive everything so that we can kind of pass them down so people can hear your story from your mouth, right?
Yeah.
And not, the telephone transcribe from everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm really, really excited to get into it. I think from the research that I've looked into you, that your life is has nothing but very interesting. So I'm really curious to see kind of how, from your perspective, this all starts. But so welcome to the experience. So to start, first thing I got to know, right?
Okay.
We all got to start off with it. Is family, because family is a big aspect
Yeah.
to people's lives.
True.
So can you tell me more about, like, we can start from maybe your grandparents or great grandparents? I don't know how much you remember about them.
Okay, we'll start with like my grandparents. Well, I guess like full disclosure, basically I'm adopted. So like my family dynamic is very different, I guess you could say, like from others. But I will say, with my grandparents, they had like 5 kids, and so 2 of them passed away from cancer. So now there's 3 left. So it'd be my mom, my Uncle Warren, and then my Uncle D, my Uncle Derek. They're pretty cool people. We were definitely like sad when my 2 aunts, like, they passed away. It was a difficult time, obviously. It was never fun. Yeah, and then recently, I would say maybe like 2 years ago, my grandma passed away.
Can you tell me what they're like? Like your grandmother, she's like a kind of the, home cooked meals type of person that you see. What type of, like, what type of grandmother do you
Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of like a picky eater, and one of the things that I remember she would do for me is like she would set a whole plate of like okra aside for me, and she would like cook it on the side, and then she'd be like, "Come get some okra," and I'd be like, "Okay."
Okra? I
Yeah.
haven't had okra in a long time.
It was
I
so
love
good.
okra. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, this keeps slipping off.
No, you're good. You're good. You can actually put the thing behind you so you don't pull it down. So stick your arm in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So hopefully that will help not pulling it off.
Yeah.
So okay, so she was. It seems like grandma was a good cook.
Mhm.
She slapped it up. That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about your parents?
My parents are pretty cool so far. They adopted me, so they must have saw something in me. I guess like fun fact, my aunt, she ran this business called Serenity Infant Care Homes, and basically that's where I got adopted from. And yeah, it's basically just like where you can adopt people, or you can host like visits where kids can visit with their birth parents, and then they have like social workers there and just like things like that.
And did you start off like, how soon did you know that? Well, I don't know, how young were you in the system?
I was pretty young. I was like a baby, but I guess like somebody got a call, or she got a call, and then she called her friend Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda picked up and was like, "Yeah." So I stayed with Miss Brenda for a little bit, and then my aunt was talking to my mom and was like, "Do you want children?"
Do you remember Miss Brenda at all?
I know what she looks like now, yeah.
Okay.
But when I was younger, probably not, honestly.
Okay.
But yeah.
And so when you, I don't know, did you find out, or was it like very soon, early on, that you knew that you were adopted, or was it one of those things where you kind of slowly was kind of
I was in elementary school, and I remember somebody was talking about something about being adopted or how they were adopted. And I was like really curious. I didn't really know what the word meant. So I went home to my mom and I was like, am I adopted? I just like straight up asked her and she said, yeah. And I was like, oh. And I just walked away. So that was pretty much like the end of that until I got a little bit older, I would say. I started like asking questions like, do you know anything about my files? Like, do you know anything about like my birth parents? Anything like that? And she'd be like, no, because I had a closed adoption. So there's not really anything like going on with that.
It didn't seem like that stopped you from connecting with people. One of my grandmother adopted children. My father's looking to adopt some as well. It's something that he was always when talking to, I guess I would call them my nieces and nephews per se.
Okay.
They would always explain to me that it's really hard to connect with people because you don't know if you're gonna keep moving. But by looking through your story, it doesn't seem like you had a hard time connecting with people. Or maybe I'm wrong.
I would say no. It was pretty easy. Like my grandpa and my grandma, they always said like if I'm curious, they're curious, if that makes sense. Like if I want to find my birth family, then they would support me. And I definitely have. Like this year has been so crazy, so much, and I think it's like helped me grow too, because I found like, I guess you could say like the other half of me, I guess, in a way. But I think it's really cool because like the journey to finding them was definitely wild. Like I didn't think so many emotions would be involved, and oh my gosh, I was so wrong. I was so wrong. But I'm glad that I did it because I was really curious and I wanted to know. And
did it start in high school, that journey, that process, or was it much later when you started the journey to try and get
no, it started after high school. So basically I was just really curious and I was like, they have to be out there somewhere, like somebody, something, you know. And so her name is Melody. She lives in Colorado, and she's like a part of this Facebook group, and they help like adopted children find their birth families. And so she was like helping me find mine, and it was cool because we did like the Ancestry.com, and then she was talking about like, oh my gosh, I forgot what it was called, like Cinta Morgans or something like that, and it's basically like your DNA broken down, and like she literally she gave me
kind of like 23andMe type.
Yeah, kind of, but I guess like different in a sense too, because I feel like, not that it's basic, but I feel like it doesn't like break everything down.
Sure.
Yeah, so like I feel like Ancestry.com is more like, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
like,
no, I get it. Yeah.
I don't know. Detailed, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay. So yeah, I just remember she gave me a list. She was like, "This is your family." I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's crazy." And so they were just like a lot of my cousins, and she was like, "This is how you're related to them. Your third cousin, your second cousin, your first cousin." I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy." So then I just remember she found somebody, and she was like, "Oh, you might be like related to them for sure." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And then like I remember
how long did that take? So like from originally getting on that Facebook, talking to Melody, right? And her getting you the information that you needed, was that like over days, or was that over like months or years?
No, yeah, it took a little bit, yeah, because I also didn't want to get my hopes up, because like, what if there's nobody out there? Like, what if you didn't find anybody? You know what I'm saying? And so I was kind of like, well, if this works, it works. If it doesn't work, at least we tried.
Right.
So it was, it took over like a few months to do it, but then we finally got in contact with my cousin Tanisha, and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, like I know who you are, like I know where you belong," kind of. And I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy." And so it took a little bit to like get in contact with my family.
Sure.
Because she was like, "Oh, somebody will call you," and I was like, "Okay."
Just sit and wait.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. I was more nervous than an interview for a job. Okay. I was like, who is going to call? It was so wild.
Right.
But yeah, there was a little bit buzz about me, and so I started getting like what is it? Friend requests on Facebook.
Sure.
For like family and stuff. So I was like, okay. I thought it was funny. But yeah. And then I remember a little bit after that, my brother reached out to me. His name is Derek. He's super cool. But he called me and he was like, you have a brother, right? I was like, that's crazy. So then we like started talking and stuff, and he was telling me like I'm the youngest. I'm 26, so everybody's like older than me.
Wait, can I stop you real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So in none of this time you have already contacted your actual blood parents, right?
Not yet, no.
This is just by interacting with others who are
Yeah.
slowly but surely getting. That is insane journey.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
wild.
It
That's
was definitely crazy.
so sorry. He was explaining.
Oh no, it's okay. He was just explaining like, I guess like I'm the youngest of so many brothers and sisters, so that was interesting to hear. And then like I had some questions and he was just answering them like as best as he could, which was really cool because he basically answered all my questions. I was like, whoa, I didn't know you knew that much. But yeah, and then I don't know who my birth dad is, but my mom, I didn't contact her. Well, we didn't contact each other for like a little bit. It was kind of like off and on, but I remember going to my brother Derek. He picked me up basically, and we went to like a family dinner party.
Sure.
And I was super nervous. Oh my gosh, I was like sweating bullets. I was like, oh my goodness,
Right.
like what are they gonna think? Because I guess like it was already like everybody knew that I was coming.
Sure.
So like when I arrived, I was like, hi, and they were like, hi. It was so cool. But then like I don't know, it's a weird feeling getting introduced to your family.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's so weird. Like, yeah.
I can't imagine because my father went through some similar experience. So he's from Brooklyn. He's from New York, and he didn't know his father, but his mother, his blood mother, essentially, she was very, I want to say secretive, but she was very protective of him. Didn't want him to be interacting with that side of the family. So it wasn't until after she had passed, right, to where he went back and tried to sift through all the stuff that she had and try to clean out the apartment and all that in Brooklyn, that where she found the information that her father's been trying to reach out to him for a long time.
Oh wow.
So through that Ancestry.com, my mother helped Ancestry.com and all the other aspects we tried to go through and call people. We found his father, and he was able to meet him before he passed.
Oh
And it's interesting to hear, someone who's adopted, how that journey looks differently, right? Because not knowing your parents, not knowing one of them, is completely different. Not knowing both of them, it's like a different avenue when you're having two individuals where you're on the journey of kind of finding, how similar do you think that your family is here, right? Your family based near you, or who's raised you, versus their family who kind of, I guess, more blood per se. How would you say the differences are between the two?
I would say my birth family. They're really cool, really fun, really outgoing. But I would definitely say I feel like we're still getting to know each other a little bit still.
So this is early. So my apologies. So how soon has this happened?
Maybe like a year or so.
Oh yeah, this is really fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, you were gonna say what was the kind of the final thing, the interactions with your mom?
Oh, okay. That didn't happen for like a little while.
Oh, excuse me. Did we jump?
A little bit, but it's okay.
What happened before in the middle of that?
In the middle was just like meeting a lot of my family, seeing some of my siblings come, and then them like asking me questions.
Yeah.
Like, where have I been? I don't know. And I'm sorry, but I don't know. And then they were like, I remember, I think it was my brother Ruben. He was like, how come I didn't know about her? It was because he was younger, and like, yeah, I guess like a lot of things happened. So it's just kind of crazy how everything came to be and everything came about. But after hearing that I was like at the family party, my mom like wanted to meet me, but it was just a little bit like back and forth kind of thing. And then finally I got to meet her at another family party we went to in LA. I was crazy seeing her for the first time. I was like, wow, that's so cool to meet her. I was really excited, but also really nervous at the same time.
I mean, yeah.
I was so nervous. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. But I couldn't I think the emotions for that came later, if that makes sense. Yeah, but I just remember meeting her for the first time, and I got to hug her, and she was like so happy to see me and stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really cool.
Did she look kind of like? Definitely seems like? Was she? I mean, again, just curious. Like, was she? Did you feel like was there shame? Was there like excitement? Was it more like? Like what are you kind of feeling like the emotions from your mother's side? Like, was there? What do you kind of feel like from her aspect? When it came?
I felt like she was really excited to see me.
That's good.
Yeah, the initial reaction was excitement, and then we were just talking it up. It was cool. She was like, "What are you doing? What are you up to?" It was like, that's crazy. I think, I thought it was like wild, but I definitely think it's different. Like when your birth family has to ask you like, "How are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you up to?" And it's like, obviously we didn't know each other, so I understand that. But I don't know. It's just kind of different. Whereas the other side of my family are just relaxing, just chilling, because I've known them for a little bit longer.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And so, so tell me, how were you raised? How was your life with your, I guess how do you differentiate the two? You said birth parents, blood parents per se, or what would you consider this family?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I know it's a hard terminology, so I don't want it to come out the wrong way.
That's a good question.
I think, but yeah, I guess per se, can you tell us a little bit more about the family who helped you raise you?
Yeah. So basically, okay, so I got adopted from a young age. A lot of people came to my adoption court date adoption.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I saw a lot of pictures. It's been really cool so far. I'm really grateful that I got adopted because I could have been put in anywhere. So yeah, there's that. But it's been really cool. I have a brother. His name is Josh. He's okay sometimes. He's okay.
Is Josh the one who was in the military?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It's just four of us, four family dynamic.
Yeah.
For now, and then we have my cousins and my grandpa's still here, so that's cool.
And how close are you guys? Do you guys do a lot of outings together, or is it more like just?
I would say, okay, so when my two aunts were here, my auntie Sherry and my auntie Kay, we when I was younger, we would get together all the time, and they would bring us together, and we'd have little family gatherings and stuff. It was really cool. But then when they passed away, it was kind of just a lot less, and so sometimes I feel like me and my cousins, we see each other just a lot less. But it's still the same dynamic. When we see each other, it feels like nothing has passed. And, we just kind of catch up, which is cool. But, yeah.
It's it's kind of the piece of the soul is missing, that hole is man, just the glue that kept everything, you wish that could be re-energized, put back in there. Do you think anyone in your family, now that you kind of I mean, this is really early, right? But you kind of gotten this new spark of energy from your blood family, right? Do you think that you now could be yo, I see how they are excited and so motivated, and so yo, let's getting them re-energized too? Do you feel like you can kind of spark that what your aunt used to do?
I don't know, honestly. I feel like that's a big thing to take because I feel like I can't fill their shoes. But everybody's doing their own thing. I have 2 sets of younger cousins, I would say, and they're middle school, and the other 2 are babies.
Okay.
And so everybody's older, so
Sure.
they're all grown up. They're in school. They're doing their own thing. They have jobs. So I don't think it would be appropriate to do that now.
Sure.
But I can see how it would have worked out because we were all younger back then, and we were just going to school.
So everyone's now on the grind now.
Yeah.
So then, any other big family events in your life do you feel like you want to jump into?
No, I feel like that's the biggest one. I would say.
Yeah. So tell me, you said work is now a big thing around, especially for you. What's some of your passions? Maybe at a young age, did you have any when they sat you down in elementary school, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, yeah. what was like the yeah.
Let's see. I would say like when I was younger, I didn't really kind of know like what I wanted to do.
Sure, yeah.
I was just going with the vibes, honestly. Like I'm a very much like go with the flow person. So, but I will say I did play a lot of sports when I grew up.
All right.
It's crazy. I played basketball is my favorite sport. So
Get excited.
yeah, for sure. I played a lot of sports, and I will say I did get injured a lot. As somebody who did play a lot of sports, I'm like kind of clumsy, so I got injured a lot, and so that kind of like, I guess like in a way fascinated me. I know it sounds weird, but it fascinated me with the body and just how fast my body could heal. Like if I get injured now, it's over. It's done. Because when I was younger, it maybe be like a week or so to be an injury, and you just bounce back like that.
Yeah,
it's
you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, what's going on here?
Now you gotta like pre-plan, stretch, think about like where did this stretch come from, first of all?
Who thought of this?
Right, exactly.
Why is this a part of things?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what other sports? You said basketball was something.
I played a lot. I did basketball, karate, softball. I did cheer, volleyball. Just the basics.
Oh, you did a few different things.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like basketball was a sport. What was it about? Was it the team aspect of things? Was it just the agile that you were able to do? Was it more focusing with your hands or coordination? Like, what was kind of the passion of basketball that made things a little bit more special for you?
I think the competition is what it was, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I would say so. I think like soccer I didn't like because I was really young, okay? And we were starting off, and this girl, she like dug her foot under the ball, and she hit me in the eye. So that was pretty much it for soccer. And then softball, I got hit in the chest. That was pretty much it for softball.
Yeah, I see it. You're like, look, what is the least chance of something injuring me? I need a basketball. Okay, cool. Just the basket's over there, not my face.
Yeah.
No, I love it. That's cool. All right. So how long did you were able to play throughout high school, middle school type of thing, or was it more of just like, early on you realized this kind of basketball was the type of thing, and then you just grew into other things as you got older?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe I played like a little bit in high school, but
Sure.
it wasn't like a whole thing. So.
So then, what did you? I know you went to school. What were you going to school for? Was it for the body?
Yeah. So basically, I want to be a physical therapist.
Oh, okay.
Assistant, but I've just been a little bit afraid to like take the leap to do that. So that's the goal, anyways.
What do you feel like is holding you back? Just the determination, or?
I feel like I have everything I need. I just feel like I'm too afraid to fail, but I feel like not trying is me failing. So I was just kind of like a little mental block, but yeah.
I think the mentality that you have taken in terms of looking for your family, like it's crazy because the mentality that you have is just like, well, at the time was like, hey, don't get your hopes up. But push forward, keep trying, keep seeing what happens as you evolve, evolve in the storyline, seeing how you can get closer and closer to your blood family. But another thing as well is that I know schooling and occupation, what you're going to do to make money and grow your life is a daunting thing because kind of learning a little bit more about kind of how the difference in your families. You have one family is very calm, very stoic, very about their business per se, right? And then you also have the family who's kind of just more just free, kind of does their thing and just float around and just kind of lives life. I could see that kind of the pressure of both sides. Do you feel like that's accurate, or do you feel I'm mischaracterizing?
I feel like some of it is accurate, but also I think it's just more of the pressure that I'm putting on myself because like I'm still young, but I feel like I'm at an age where I need to kind of know like what like path I'm gonna take.
Sure.
Like I work at Target, so I don't want to work at Target forever.
Sure.
But it's cool for now. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll put me through school and everything. But I just kind of want something that's gonna like set me up for life. You know?
Yeah.
With whatever I do.
I think what's interesting is that when you do a lot of studies, right? Because I run a business, so one of the biggest things for us is that running a business, you always kind of feel like well, this is kind of like the new modern day schooling thing, right? Don't go to school; it costs too much, right? Type of thing.
Yeah.
But the reality is that school has such big opportunities for you, and even just trying to get 1% better, small bites at a time, tends to help people tackle the big animal of, oh gosh, I have to accomplish all these classes and all these schools, stuff, so on and so forth. So as long as you stay enrolled and keep doing that one bits and pieces over time, maybe that's the push that you need to be like, it's called a snowball effect, right? You do one, you're like, great, I passed it with an A, okay. You do two now, it's like, oh, I crashed both of them with an A, okay. And you get, and it, so it becomes this like growing, and it makes it easier and easier over time. Instead of like, all right, I'm gonna take 12 courses, like, oh God, 12 credits, I'm gonna try to get all this done. Maybe too big to bite at the beginning. So maybe that might be an interesting approach.
Yeah.
But you said physical therapy. What interests you about that?
I just think the body interests me in general. But like I said, like when I got hurt, I kind of, not that I thought it was cool because the pain was too real, but I thought it was cool how like the body healed so fast. Or like basically, okay, one time I like sprained my ankle really bad.
Yeah.
And so the ankle bone popped out and it looked like a softball just chilling on the side of my foot. It was so big. But I just thought how, obviously it took some time, but it just like slowly like went back into my ankle. And I just thought that was crazy.
Like, your body just knew what to do. So
yeah.
Just get you.
It just, I don't know. I just thought that was crazy. And I was in high school too. So it took a little longer, but it like went down. I was like, wow. It was insane.
No, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting as well. Okay, cool. So you mentioned that like currently right now some occupations that you have as target. Have you done anything else in recent terms?
Yeah, I used to work at Starbucks, and then before that I worked at Old Navy, and then before Old Navy I used to work at a kids camp.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
How do you like working with kids?
Kids are really cool. They're definitely wild for sure.
Yeah,
I feel like any category you work with, kids are always like, ah. But yeah, it was really cool. I worked at that summer camp I think for like 4 summers I think. So it was really cool. I really got to know the kids. Some of them were like really cool, really funny. Yeah. And kids have so many different personalities too.
Right.
So that's always one thing you got to look out for.
Yeah. The different worlds, different characters you're dealing with.
Exactly.
So, so you were saying that some of the things you did was when you were a kid was for fun, right? Was soccer not soccer, but basketball and so on and so forth. So, but it also seems like you had a really good connections with friends and stuff too. Is there any key friends? Any key kind of people throughout your life, glimpses of as you got older that made a big difference to who you are today?
Yeah, I would say so. Like when I was younger, I didn't make a lot of friends, which is like crazy. I used to be really like introverted because I got bullied a lot. So I don't know. I just kind of like kept to myself. But then I guess like somewhere along the line, kind of like middle school, high school area, I just like came into myself, if that makes sense. And just, I don't know. I just started being more outgoing, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I definitely have like a small group of friends who like keep it together. So yeah.
Can you tell me about them?
Okay, sure. They're definitely they're very much they accept me as who I am, if that makes sense. But they're also they're also kind of like, when I hit them up, they're like, what did you do? And I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. That's wow. Yeah, they're very fun, they're very caring, they're very inviting, very much like I've known them for a while. Or like one of my friends that I've known, Adrian, I've known him, we grew up doing karate together. So that was really cool. So I've known him maybe like a little bit over 7 years. Him, and then my friend Tiffany and Amy. Then I have like Will. Yeah, they're all like really cool.
And you said Adrian was in karate. Tiffany, you met also in middle school and high school?
No, Tiffany, Amy, and Will, I met them. We went to the same high school.
Oh, basically. Okay.
Yeah, so that was cool.
So you have a lot of close friends that you've been with for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you still connect now, not even in your even well in your 20s. So what kind of kept your friendship alive for so long?
That's a good question. I would say just like the relationship we have with each other. I think, well, I could say from my perspective, I don't know about theirs,
Sure.
but my perspective, I would say like my relationship with them is also different, just because they're all different people and they have their own personalities and stuff. But I would say I would definitely like to keep the connections with them well into when I get older. So, yeah.
What do you value about them?
What do I value about them? Okay. Like my friend Tiffany, she's very determined. Like when she sets her mind to it, she can do anything. My friend Amy, she's, oh my gosh, she's really creative. She can literally, I don't know how she does it, but she's so creative. And I'm like, how do you do this? She's made like a picture for me. It's like a sunflower, it's my favorite flower, but it's like in little like rhinestones, and it's so cool. And then she did this one, I don't know how to say it. It's like on a board and it's a heart and it's like a string heart. Like she made the outside of the heart with nails around the board, and then she like strung the string to like make the shape of the heart. Who thinks of that?
That's awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
So then you have like you said, Amy, who's very creative. You have Tiffany, who's super determined. What do you think you said they accept you for who you are. What do you think, who are you?
That's a good question.
I know.
That's a good question. Oh my gosh.
It's hard talking about yourself. It really is. Yeah. But it's hopefully something that's really beneficial for you, you know? So yeah, the way you see them versus the way you see you. Who is Blessing Jackson? If you could put a word to it.
I guess like outgoing is one, I would say. Two is really like loving and caring, but I would also say determined too. So yeah.
Kind of seems like you were able to adapt from others and kind of help. It's like a transformer a little bit.
Yeah.
Creating you. That's cool.
Yeah.
So awesome. Okay. So you kind of been able to see the full perspective, right? You're starting off in life being adopted. You've then went from going from adoption, being with your, I don't want to call them a host family, but your family that you have, right? That you've known for years, like 20 years of your life, and who helped to raise you, who helped support you to kind of where you are today, but also help, I guess, in little ways, right? You were able to kind of learn about yourself throughout the time, even being bullied, right? You're still able to find a way to still be more outgoing, right? Even when you have like you're getting injured and trying to do some of the things that you love, playing basketball and such, you're finding the best sides of it, right? Seems like you have a really good perspective about turning even what would look like for many people a reason to complain and woe is me, my life, right? But to change it into something saying like, oh, well, I'm injured, but look how cool the body heals, right? It's like, oh, okay, I'm adopted, but look how you can always find your host family. Hey, like you become this, you essentially always persevering. It's like this sense of like, hey, I work at Target, but I have so many goals in life I can go and get and achieve, right? So I'm kind of curious of like, what is the end goal for you? Like, what is the dream? You know, what are you fighting for? What do you want out of life? You know, over this last year of all these crazy things, emotions that you're feeling, which I imagine this is a big fork in the road for you. You know, yeah, you know, yeah. What's the dream?
I think right now I'm more in the stage of like setting myself up, but I would say the goal for right now, I would say, to be a physical therapy assistant and like live in Colorado. It's basically. I know it's kind of simple, but
I think sometimes it's, the answers are always simple.
Yeah.
The best ones are, yeah. Colorado is the first time I've heard that. Not first, I think you mentioned that again. Melody is out there. But can you give me an understanding why Colorado? What's
I just think it's really cool. Honestly, like I haven't really been to Colorado.
Sure.
But yeah, I just think it'd be really cool to live there. And it's a lot cheaper to live there than it is California.
Sure.
Because I've been looking at apartments over here, and how I cannot do that. So, yeah, I don't know. It was either like Colorado or maybe like Oregon, or I just want to move somewhere new, somewhere fun and funky, fresh. You know, keeping it real.
No, I think it's cool. Yeah. Are you? I know you said you work at Target. Are you a shopper, or are you into like fashion at all?
I would say not so much fashion. Like, At Target, I work the cashier, so it's cool though. I meet some people from different states sometimes, and they come in. They're always like, "Oh, do you charge for bags?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, sorry." Where I live, they don't charge for bags. Must be nice.
Right.
Must be nice.
Okay, cool. And then you mentioned that I think you're at Citrus now currently.
I will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's where we're gonna head to. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's kind of the big encapsulation of what we have for your life right now. Is there anything else you would like to add? Anything you think we missed in the kind of the first initial part of kind of the world that you've lived so far?
I would say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got some questions for you.
Okay.
All right, cool. So these are called deep questions. So the idea is to kind of be some thought provoking. Some of them are gonna be stupid.
Okay.
Some are gonna be cool. So it kind of adds a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is gonna be some hard ones. But I think it's also gonna be some fun ones as well. So I'm excited to see what your perspective is on them. So level 1, okay?
Okay.
3 questions out of level 1. They're pretty soft. So just to get you warmed up. The first question is, if you were a superhero, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be your name, and what are 3 superpowers?
Oh. Okay, 3 superpowers. I have to fly. That's like that has to be in there somewhere. And number 2, I have to be able to like read your mind.
Yo.
You know how cool that would be?
Yo.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
In today's age, and you read somebody's. I mean, come on.
Thanks. Absolutely.
And number 3, I think maybe like super strength. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
So you're flying, you're buff.
Yeah.
And you read people's minds.
Yeah.
That is awesome. What's the name?
Oh, I don't know. Let me think.
You know you had that Xbox Live gamer tag. You know you got the...
I have a Switch, but like I don't really play that much, so. I don't know. I guess just like blessing.
Right.
I don't know.
That's a good. Hey, see,
know.
I like his. Yo, the answers sometimes are the simplest and the best ones. I love it. Great answer. Okay, so what is something about you that you think would surprise me?
I like photography.
Okay.
Mhm.
Photography.
Mhm.
What do you like shooting?
Mostly landscape. I would
Really?
say. Yeah, I've tried to shoot people. Well, I
Portraits
shouldn't have
are
said
hard.
that. Portraits of people.
Mm.
Yes. Oh my god. But it didn't really like work out. So sometimes, like, okay, me and my family, we go to like Descanso Gardens.
Oh.
And so we go up there and like I shoot the flowers, and sometimes you'll see like deer or things like that.
Yeah.
And so I'll just go up and I'll take like little pictures of them. And it's so cool. It's, to me, I feel like photography is really peaceful. Like I could be having the worst day ever and I'll just want to pick up my camera and go shoot something. And it's very much like, it makes me focus, but also like detail oriented too. And I think that's what I like about it.
Have you ever posted this on Insta, or like, do you get?
I have like a photo page on Instagram, but it's kind of down at the moment because my camera is kind of broken.
Well, hey, you want to plug your Insta?
Maybe later.
Okay, let's do
Yeah.
it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did slightly surprise me. Photography,
Yeah.
going from the kind of active role of you've been in so long to that just like behind the cameras, but it doesn't really, because looking over someone, doing the research on you, you take a lot of pictures, but not of landscapes, but of people.
Yeah.
But I guess that was much younger.
Yeah.
I think I can definitely see how that has grown into like the kind of scenic route, the peaceful side, things that are untouched, like nature.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I also think it's cool because my cousin, he runs his own business with photography. And so I've been able to like shadow him and like look to, basically he gives me advice or helps me better my photography.
Sure.
And I think it's really cool just seeing him in his element, how he does like portraits of people and just the way it comes out, or like behind the scenes of how sometimes he deals with kids, and kids sometimes are squirming around, they want to go look at everything, and I think it's cool how he gets them to like focus, and then the family just brings it together. So
that's cool. I love it. All right, third final level 1 question. Okay. Describe one experience you wish you'll have in the future.
Oh. I don't know. This might be a little simple, but I just think like being at peace with everything. Like I kind of just want to like I want to be set with what I'm doing, and I just kind of want to be like living on my own, just vibing out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of want to travel a little bit too, so with the money that I make. So yeah. Pretty much.
Freedom to choose. Kind of choose the things you want to do.
Yeah, basically.
Good. All right, level 2.
Okay.
All right. And the final 2 questions are going to be pretty hard, so I'm pretty curious of what you're going to do.
Oh no. Okay.
Describe a moment that changed your life.
Okay. I wouldn't say. I guess it kind of changed my life a little bit. Recently, we went to this play, and I forgot what it's called, but it's basically about people, basically the black community, and how they're wrongly incarcerated or wrongly looked at. And so we went to a play about that, and they had like an after show talk, basically, where we sit down and the crowd asked the people questions, and this one lady, she kind of like, she asked a question of, basically she didn't know that this happened, and she wanted to know kind of like more, or like where she can go research it, and instead of, oh, I guess they're older too, but in my experience, I've always had people like jump down the other person's throat, like, why don't you know, and blah 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 blah.
Right.
And so I've never seen it before, but they just met her with like love and understanding and kind of like peace of where they were coming from, and they explained it a little bit, but they also explained that, you know, like she can look it up too and like go on her own journey as well. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, like I've never seen anybody with that subject meet somebody with so much peace and understanding and just like love.
You're wearing a shirt right now, and
Yeah.
it says "You Matter."
Yeah.
I also saw some of the BLM on your page as well. It seems like you have obviously all your friends, Adrian, and I take it they're not all African American, right?
No. Yeah.
So you kind of have this sense of like, hey, I want to make sure everyone feels like they're a part of it. But something that I think that what you mentioned is we're in a very divisive world right now. If you mess up, you know, you get canceled, you get told like, hey, you can't, you know, how dare you not know this type of thing.
Yeah.
So I can completely understand having seen people just sitting down after such a really hard conversation, a hard play, right after it, just being able to just ask questions and not feel like you're going to be feel safe enough to be able to operate.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was definitely a different setting for sure. And just like opened my eyes to what like could be, I guess, or what conversations like that could look like if they were not like regulated, but more, I guess, like peaceful in a sense. Yeah.
That's awesome. Level 2, second question.
Okay.
What is something your parents taught you that you now know is wrong?
Let's see. Okay. If I'm gonna be honest, I would say like communication. Sometimes in my family, communication is not always the best, I would say. So I would say I had to learn how to communicate better or use my words more wisely. So yeah.
Give us an example, please.
Okay. So I guess like arguments, you know, everybody argues, everything happens like that. But I feel like I had to learn how to be more calm in my stance and where I was coming from. And then I also had to learn like when to walk away, if that makes sense.
I think that's really hard.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really hard to just kind of take a step back when things are hot, because you want to, when you want to, like, two bulls are going at it, you don't want to stop, you know, see where this ends up.
Yeah.
But then it changes it from being a fight, and then it just becomes a long discussion. Because you can always revisit it later when things are calm.
Yeah.
It's very wise. Where'd you pick that up?
Mm, honestly, a little bit of therapy,
Mm.
but more for like my sanity as well. Because sometimes the discussions would get heated, and it just, I feel like when you're heated and when you're in the moment, some things just really just don't be making sense at all. And now you're just saying stuff.
Mm.
And so for me, that's where I get more frustrated on the part when it didn't like make any sense and it just made me feel like, where is this coming from? So I personally would just have to take a step back and just kind of like reevaluate what's going on and what's happening, I would say.
And that's interesting. That's huge. That's huge. I think there's a lot of people don't learn that until they're much older, much older. And that's something that I struggle with as well. It's cool that season that you have kind of I don't want to say crack the code, but a little bit crack the code before it's too late. So that's cool.
Thanks.
Final third level question.
Okay.
Okay. What is your greatest fear about getting older?
Oh. I guess like passing away, I would say. That's like a really big fear of mine. I don't know why. Like I know it's natural and it happens to everybody, but like I just want to be here forever. Is that possible? Like come on. Like I just want to see my little cousins grow up. I want to see their kids grow up. Like I don't know. Obviously I can't be here for that long, but I think passing away is kind of like daunting in a sense. But I've also experienced what it's like after somebody passes away. So I don't think I would want anybody to feel that pain, but it's kind of like it's inevitable because it's going to happen either way.
So just to clarify, the fear of kind of passing away, is it because you're going to be missing out, or is it kind of the fear of just like of the pain of passing, or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, I think the pain of passing for sure. Yeah.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yo, this has been one of the most interesting interviews I've ever done. One, because what the people I value the most are those who have least to say, right? Because you can say more with less. I think that's an art. It's really hard because everyone wants to say a lot because you get to get the gab, But for those who can speak, right? But just a little bit, just enough, right? You can get a lot across with just a little. But it's even better when you're more comfortable. As you get more comfortable with things, you tend to just like let things out and flow, and just tends to have this really cool dialogue. And one thing I really enjoy about talking with you specifically is that your journey is not a simple one. You've been through a lot to try and get to where you are today.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a quarter of the way through. Like, you're not even like we're just a baby in this,
Yeah.
And even though we're all going to be here for maybe 100 years, right? You have so much to leave. Some people are going to be. I know a lot of people in our community who wants to interact with those who have had your similar journey. I know my father is definitely a person who's been was on the journey of trying to find his father, and I think that is really interesting if you can. If you're able to connect and hear people's stories who've kind of been through something like you have similar, and be able to find, that's another way I can go about things, and that's how I deal with problems or certain things. So I'm really excited to have sit down with you, and hopefully this is not the last time. Hopefully we can sit down again.
No, yeah, hopefully. This is fun, honestly. I didn't think when you asked me to do it, I was like, should I do it? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it was really cool, and I'm glad I decided to do it.
Yeah, I'm excited to come on too. So the very final thing we like to talk about is the painting. So This is donated by, again, Miss Mook Song. Shout out to M Song for donating another piece. You said your favorite color was yellow.
Yeah.
So we tried to fractal it together, put pieces on.
So cool.
It kind of like one thing that she was telling me is that Blessing, she thought of kind of like church. So you know they have like stained glass windows in church, you know,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. So she tried to kind of recreate that kind of feeling.
Oh,
She know you're religious, so
that's
she didn't go into it. So she just kind of wanted to be
Yeah.
able to kind of have pieces of it, yellows, and then just have other colors that kind of fit the kind of that kind of blessing side of just good positivity, no darkness. It's just all kind of like the
Yeah.
blessing of life. So
A blessing of life. I've never heard that before.
yeah.
That's cool.
So super excited. Thank you again and then again, if anyone wants to, whether be on the show or donate their paintings for the show, please do. You can contact us on our email. All of our stuff will be in the description. And we'll obviously going to be sharing your contact. I don't know if you have any social medias you want to plug, or we should just throw that in the description as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll toss in the description if you want to reach out, interact with her. Thank you everyone for being on our show. Thank you so much for supporting us. We didn't expect so much growth in a short amount of time. So we're excited to see that there's a lot of people are kind of enjoying hearing other people's life stories and enjoying hearing each other's journeys. And so our goal is to continue doing this. And so tomorrow we have another show with Mr. Martinez. Again, it's going to be at 8 a.m. And we're excited to see kind of what his life looks like. He's an older gentleman, but it's going to be really, really fun. Excited for him. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the experience. And we'll see you next time on the B&E podcast. Bye.